You're our technical expert for the day, so I want you to talk to me about HP's game-changing technology.
So HP are at the forefront of the 3D printing industry. So they started many years ago with the MJF technology, and then recently they've moved into the metal industry as well with the S100 printer. And then only a couple of weeks ago, they've launched their new filament printer. So the HP IF600 printer, it uses super polymers to produce high-end precision components that are ready for end-use applications.
Ross, tell me about the capacity.
So it's probably sitting in the mid-level of production. So you can range from using materials like your ABS all the way up to your high-performance polymers like your PEEK, carbon PEEK. So depending on what sort of industry you're sitting in would be dependent on where you're going to be using it. But like I said, the ABS you can use for your prototyping, or you can move up to your PEEKs and carbon PEEKs for your high sort of performance polymers.
And modularity is another word that we've got in here as well.
So yeah, it's a really easy system to use. So we've got 3 different modules. So we've got the 280, the 360, and then the 500. So the numbers relate to the temperatures that the modules can go to.
Yeah.
And then obviously that will then correlate to the sort of materials you can use on them as well. So we've go from the 280, which will be your ABS and your sort of prototyping materials. So you can do different colors in your ABS. So it will depend on whether it's going to be a certain prototyping in a certain industry. Then we move on to the 380, so that'll be your more engineering sort of grade polymers, so your polycarbonate and your sort of carbon-filled PA. And then we'll also move on then to the 500, which would be your sort of PEEK, carbon PEEK, so your high-end performance polymers.
And Ross, talking about technology, here's one you made earlier.
So this is a carbon PEEK part that has been produced on this machine, one of the high-performance polymers that's available. So it's quite handy as well with your high-end customers who are really keen on the sort of traceability, where they like to know from filament all the way through to material, they can trace the whole progress. So with this machine, it's also good because you don't just get the printer, you can also purchase the MMS as well, which is the material management system. So it gives you the traceability to be able to put your spools on there. It knows all of the information. So every spool comes with an RFID chip. So you can trace from the batch number all the way through to when it was dried, how much material has been used, and then you can then put that into the printer. The printer will then read all of that information, and then at the end you can print off a print report, and it will tell you all of the information throughout the whole process.
Ross, you really know your stuff. I believe there's going to be an opportunity to chat to you soon about this.
Yes, so I'll be at MAC, so on the 20th to the 24th of April. So come and see us if you've got a certain application you want to talk about or just want to learn about the machine itself. Come over, see us, and we'll be happy to have a chat.